Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are launching into an analysis of a truly unusual stack of sources.
Really unusual, yeah.
It's the allegorical narrative from the graphic novel Where Wellbeing Dwells by Henk Jans.
So this isn't a historical document or anything like that?
Not at all. It's a mythological quest, really. A deep search for self-knowledge told, entirely through metaphor.
And that's what makes it so powerful. It's almost a shortcut to understanding the journey for purpose, because the author compresses a whole lifetime of these ethical and philosophical struggles into one single story.
So our mission for you today is to follow the main character, who's known just as Being,
Simple as that.
and distill the core, actionable lessons he picks up on his quest for destination, harmony, and well-meaning.
It all starts with this incredibly powerful image.
The Great Void.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's just there. That's a heavy metaphor to kick things off with, isn't it?
It is. The search doesn't start from a place of clarity or abundance. It starts from emptiness, from that feeling of lack that really drives us to look for something more.
It grounds the whole journey. Being is starting at, absolute zero. And that's when he encounters the wise owl.
Right, who doesn't give him a map?
No map. He gets a riddle, which is more of a directive for how to live the search itself.
Follow your heart, learn from the road, find where well-being dwells.
And what's so fascinating there is the emphasis on the process. It's learn from the road. The journey itself is the teacher, not some endpoint.
That sets up the structure perfectly, because the road immediately starts throwing extremes at him.
Oh, immediately.
So let's unpack this very first stage where Being encounters these quick fixes and, dueling philosophies. He barely takes 10 steps out of the void and he's already confronted.
These are all the easy outs, right? The simplified answers we always hear. The first is the gnome.
The gnome, yes.
He represents this path of simple, almost magical faith. His whole cry is just, I stamp my foot and everything will be all right.
The instant gratification approach.
Totally. Just do this one little ritual and reality will bend to your will.
And before he can even really process that, he runs straight into the tension between, the mind and the muscle.
Reflection versus action. First, he meets the thinker.
And Being makes some kind of slightly mocking remark.
And the thinker admonishes him, which causes Being to just sink into this deep, paralyzing contemplation.
Analysis paralysis.
Exactly. The world of pure intellectual thought can be a total trap. You get all this depth, but there's just zero momentum. You're stuck.
And then with perfect timing, an ant shows up.
Sees him brooding and just laughs at him.
Because the ant is the polar opposite. Don't think, just do. The pure action bias.
The hustle culture mindset, it sees any kind of deep thought as a weakness.
So the first big lesson of the road is about finding a balance.
He has to move beyond these extremes. Unthinking faith, intellectual paralysis, and mindless action. They're all necessary experiences, but none of them is the destination.
Okay, so after rejecting those extremes, he faces a much more personal test.
The ethical test of temptation.
Right. He needs shelter, and he finds it with a fortune teller. And this is where the stakes get, truly existential.
It's the classic Faustian bargain, really, but it's customized for someone seeking purpose.
She doesn't just offer him a roof over his head.
No, she promises power, wealth, all revealed by an oracle. And the only price is his soul.
Just relax, stop struggling, and sell your soul to me. It's the ultimate shortcut. Trade your integrity for comfort and validation.
But he refuses.
Yeah.
He says no. And you'd think that would be this moment of liberation.
You would think. But what happens is much darker and much more psychologically real.
He gets retribution.
Yes, the fortune teller screams this powerful curse over him. The text says he flees, but he can't escape it. It just weighs down his feelings and thoughts. Which means rejecting temptation isn't always a clean victory. It can come with a heavy cost.
A psychological burden. When you choose integrity, the world, or even your own self-doubt, can lash out and load you up with guilt or fear.
So how does he deal with that weight? That curse?
He seeks oblivion. He immediately runs into Bacchus, the god of indulgence.
And gets persuaded to just lose himself in drinking parties.
It's pure self-medication. He's trying to drown out the voice of the curse. But the problem with excess, as Bacchus shows him,
is that it's fundamentally cold and transactional.
Exactly. The consequence is brutal. He wakes up abandoned on forgotten ground.
Physically and mentally drained.
Hearing only this vague, mocking echo of Bacchus, it shows the absolute limit of hedonism as a solution to suffering. It just leaves you more isolated than before.
So, after being abandoned, he gets a tip from a lizard.
Another strange guide.
to seek God in the center of a labyrinth. So he's back to searching for some big, complex, hidden answer.
And of course, that expectation is immediately subverted. He gets through this whole complex maze, and what does he find? Not God.
He finds a captive fakir.
Yes, a fakir held hostage by the lizard. And he only gets fed if he can produce wise, profound words on demand.
Which is such a devastating critique of performative wisdom.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's like a modern spiritual guru who's a prisoner to the demand for endless social media content. And he's starving because, you can't just produce authenticity on a schedule.
And what's the big aha moment here for being? How does he get out?
This is a massive turning point. He doesn't solve a puzzle. The text says it very clearly. He finds a way out because the sincere of heart finds a way there.
So it's not about being clever.
It's about sincerity. He saves the fakir through genuine compassion, proving that authenticity will always trump mandated intellectual performance.
And that sincerity is tested right away.
Immediately, he's attacked by Cerberus, the hellhound.
And Cerberus demands vengeance. He says the only way to find salvation is through violence.
By killing the fortune teller, the sorceress who cursed him.
So this is the temptation of retribution. That primal urge to balance the scales by hurting the person who hurt you.
But Being has learned something by now. He sees it's another false path.
So he sends Cerberus back.
Realizing that violence, even if he feels it's justified, will only pull him further away from his goal of harmony. He rejects both false worship and vengeful action.
So he's conquered these big external temptations. Wealth, vengeance.
And now he has to face the final, most intimate internal conflict. The nature of desire itself.
Which brings us to the lustful forest.
He meets the wood nymph. She's beautiful, but she's unattainable.
And Being, who is still thinking in terms of possession, tries to gain control.
He actually demands she give herself to him so they can possess the forest together. He's still trying to turn this deep longing into external ownership.
Objectifying her and the forest as things to be acquired for his own fulfillment.
And, just like before, ownership is fiercely guarded. A jealous unicorn appears and threatens to impale him. It's the swift, violent consequence of that kind of reckless, possessive desire.
But he's rescued.
Yes, and the rescue is so important. The wood nymph intervenes. The text says her beauty, her purity, her virginity, that tames the unicorn's savage strength.
What's the lesson there?
It suggests that this destructive, possessive force can only be neutralized by a spirit that is whole, that is pure, that isn't driven by the need to control.
And then she delivers this final, crushing lesson about desire.
A really profound statement, she tells him. The soap bubble of desire inflates itself only to burst into an infinite cannon, a bottomless source of restless longing.
Wow.
She's basically telling him that desire is not a container for happiness. It's a generator of unhappiness. The second you fulfill one desire, 1,000 new ones rush in to take its place.
And that just shatters his whole worldview.
Completely.
So, left totally disillusioned, he finally finds some peace.
He finds it with the elves. And he doesn't achieve it or solve it. They simply heal his heartache with their lovely music.
It's the introduction of harmony, of subtle, non-striving beauty as a source of healing.
And that harmony is what sets the stage for the biggest turning point in the whole story.
The reversal of the curse.
Exactly. The elf queen points him to the fortune teller, who, it turns out, now lives with the elves. Their music has driven away her evil spirit.
So she's no longer this powerful, malicious sorceress?
She's just a person who has lost her leverage. And she frees Being from the curse, but not by reversing a spell. By just telling him the truth about it. She makes it clear. The curse only worked because he believed in it.
That's the moment he realizes he's sovereign over his own emotional landscape.
He gets to determine the weight of other people's words, the power of their malice. He shifts the power from the external curse to his own internal belief.
That is the ultimate lesson of self-determination. An elf then guides him to a wise man who might finally know where well-being is.
And who is this wise man? It's a beautiful full-circle moment. It's the fakir.
The man he saved from the labyrinth.
The one who is held captive by the demand for performative wisdom, and the fakir doesn't give him a neat definition.
Of course not.
Instead, he just wonders aloud if it even makes sense to try and find words for something that is, well, unnameable.
The entire journey was about unlearning what well-being is not.
It's not instant gratification, not paralysis, not excess, not vengeance, not possession. The true answer, the fakir is suggesting, might lie completely beyond language. It's something you can only reach through inner strength and sincerity.
The fakir gives him one last pointer to a meeting, which brings being to a fulfilling realization. And that's where the narrative we've analyzed ends. You, the listener, have followed him all the way from the great void through all these trials to this place of inner freedom.
And for those of you who really appreciate the visual poetry of this journey, remember the full answer is revealed in the published graphic novel, Where Wellbeing Dwells. It has even more characters and encounters than we could cover here.
And if you happen to find yourself in the Netherlands in 2026, keep in mind there's an exhibition of drawings and texts from the book. It's at the Iconen Museum in Kampen, running from January 20th to May 1st, 2026. A powerful way to visualize Being's Road.
But before we wrap up, we want to leave you with one final thought, building on what the fakir said. If well-being is truly unnameable, something beyond just words or thoughts, what everyday action, what nonverbal moment of genuine engagement or presence do you think represents the deepest realization of finding where well-being dwells?
That's a powerful question to carry forward. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into allegory and purpose. We encourage you to reflect on the weight you choose to give to the curses and desires in your own life.
Because as being learned, the power to define that weight is always yours.
We'll see you next time.